and then he'll do it again. Sleep apnea is a bully. Not long ago, we heard our friend John tell you about how his bully was stopping his breathing in his sleep over 145 times an hour. Think about what that can do to your body's organs. It's no wonder that the snowball effects of long-term obstructive sleep apnea are heart disease, stroke, even depression and anxiety. But this problem is solvable, and we have solutions, and you'll be surprised at how simple they are.
To date, Advent has solved over 40,000 breathing triangle problems. It's time to put that bully in his place. Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
Hi, this is Michelle Voskel, CPA and team member at Right Choice Tax Resolution Services. We have recently talked with a number of new clients who told us the same story. They had a tax situation and went with one of those national firms with the TV and radio ads. You know the ones. They guarantee they can settle your tax owed for pennies on the dollar. They take a $10,000 fee up front, and then you never hear from them again. We are a local firm and just want to help you resolve your situation so you can get on with your life. Don't let your bank account get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security check get garnished, or a lien put on your house so you can't sell it or get refinanced. The state can even put a hold on your occupational license. What happens when the hospital finds out your nursing license is suspended or you can't sell insurance anymore? Make the right choice and call 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us today. Schedule a free meeting so we can talk and come up with a solution to solve your situation now. If you wait, it will not go away. The first meeting is free. Call now, 844-222-1192, or visit rightchoicetax.us.
Built Right. One location saves you money.
You gotta get to Built Right today.
Your trusted and relevant source for news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 11:01. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, November 11th. Your top story, honoring Wisconsin's military veterans.
I'm Jessica Ty, debating Wisconsin abortion law in Madison.
Decreasing clouds today, breezy, cooling temps, a high of 52 in the morning hours, and we're going to dip into the 40s in the afternoon. Tonight, mostly clear, a low of 28 degrees, mostly sunny for Tuesday with a high of 49. It's 51 and sunny in Milwaukee. At 11:02 from the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, Governor Evers praising the state's veterans today. It is Veterans Day.
Wisconsin is home to over 300,000 veterans, and each of them, sacrificing the comforts and safety of home, made it their mission to defend our great state and nation and to protect the values and liberties that we hold dear.
Evers among the speakers during a special Veterans Day ceremony today at the state Capitol building.
Also happening now in Madison, Wisconsin Supreme Court is hearing arguments on the legality of the state's pre-Civil War abortion ban. Attorney Matthew Tome is arguing on behalf of Sheboygan County District Attorney Joel Ermansky in favor of upholding the ban.
This case is not about what the law on abortion should be in the state of Wisconsin after the United States Supreme Court's reversal of Roe v. Wade and its progeny. This case is about what the law on abortion currently is.
The ban took effect after the U.S. Supreme Court overturned Roe v. Wade in 2022 and only permits abortion to save the mother's life. But a Dane County judge blocked the ban in 2023, arguing it does not prevent consensual abortions.
Election certification in the city of Milwaukee underway today. Election Commission Director Paulina Gutierrez says there's a lot of work to do.
I think all of us are just very tired. There's still a lot of work to do. Even though the election's over, we've got to certify that election, finish our books, and so we're just back to work.
Election certification delayed Friday by a hazmat scare and evacuation at City Hall. Once the results are certified by the city's Board of Elections commissioners, they'll be transferred to the county and continue through the process at the state level.
The city of Sheboygan is dealing with a ransomware attack.
The city reports an outside party gained access to Sheboygan's network earlier this month and demanded a ransom. As of this morning, the scope of the attack remains unclear. City officials say they haven't found any evidence of personal information being leaked, but are working with law enforcement on their response to the attack. Phone lines remain open for residents accessing Sheboygan's city services. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Air quality alerts as wildfires burn in New Jersey and New York State. One of them has burned more than 3,000 acres. About 10% contained right now. The fires also turned deadly.
Extremely dry conditions fueling several wildfires burning in northern New Jersey. The largest of them, the Jennings Creek Fire on the New York-New Jersey border. Dariel Vasquez, an 18-year-old volunteer forest ranger, killed by a falling tree while battling the blaze. New Jersey Forest Fire Service Chief Bill Donnelly.
Here's a young man who was looking to help, and unfortunately, just didn't work out.
The wildfires all within 35 to 40 miles of New York City, sending acrid smoke over the area. Dave Packer, ABC News in New York.
Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. Mixed results today. The Dow surging up nearly 370 points at 44,352. NASDAQ is kind of bouncing back and forth right now, down about 6 points at 19,280. S&P 500 up nearly 15 points, over 6,000 at 6,010 and change. For sound financial advice from a fee-only fiduciary, it's Annex Wealth Management. Go to annexwealth.com and click on the Get Started button today.
The Packers are back to work this week. We're looking ahead next. Stay close. Sports, traffic, and weather are ahead. Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:05.
If you own a company or you're in management, you know how valuable your local employees are. WTMJ's John Mercure here. Show your gratitude with a company holiday party at the historic Fox and Hound Supper Club, recently voted the best supper club in the area. When you buy one dinner, your second dinner is free. Half your employees' dinners are free, saving your company hundreds of dollars, and they get a great dinner in a fantastic atmosphere. The Fox and Hounds, tucked into the Kettle Moraine Forest, the warmth and aroma of the real wood-burning fireplaces hits you as soon as you walk in the door. And the holiday decorations are incredible, putting your employees in the holiday spirit. Gift cards make perfect holiday gifts. With the buy one dinner, get one free offer, it's like getting a free gift card. The Fox and Hounds, just off Highway 167, 2 miles east of the famous Holy Hill Shrine. The drive is beautiful. I love this place. Book your company holiday party and order your gift cards today at foxandhoundsrestaurant.com. Relax tonight. Enjoy your free dinner. foxandhoundsrestaurant.com.
If you got a tattoo, what would it be?
What?
It's a conversation starter.
Why?
For the JYS2 Conversation Sofa from Penny Mustard.
The JYS2 Conversation Sofa has a unique curve to add dimension and ease as you sit face-to-face and chat with your friends.
What's your biggest fear?
And it's so comfortable.
What's the silliest question you've ever heard?
Easy. That one.
The JYS2 Conversation Sofa, starting at $27.91 at Penny Mustard.
Showrooms in Milwaukee and Chicago.
PennyMustard.com.
The King is back in the building this holiday season. Dean Z, the ultimate Elvis Christmas spectacular. Join us as Elvis Presley Enterprises world champion tribute artist Dean Z and his 12-piece band take you on a high-energy musical journey spanning the electrifying career of the King of Rock and Roll, featuring Elvis's greatest hits along with the King's best holiday classics. Friday, December 13th at the Riverside Theater in Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Get your tickets now at PabstTheaterGroup.com.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports Desk. Back to work for the Packers after a week off. Green Bay travels to Chicago to face the 4-6 Bears Sunday afternoon. Packers begin the week 2 games back of the Lions and 1 game back of the Vikings in the NFC North. The Bucs' 3-game homestand continues Tuesday night against the Raptors. Doc Rivers' Bucs just 2-8 on the season.
Everybody feels like they're trying to find themselves in this mess of awful losses, and I think we will.
College basketball tonight. 18th-ranked Marquette takes on Central Michigan. Hear the game on 94.5 ESPN, with coverage beginning at 7:30.
Taking a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We're doing better than we were this morning. Right now, just a couple disabled vehicles in the system. Most are not causing any problems, but I want to let you know about this one in Racine County, just because it's a semi that's having issues, so it just is a bit of a mess. It's a disabled vehicle on the ramp from County K to 4194 North. Once again, this is in Racine County. Disabled vehicle on the ramp from County K to I-4194 North. It's been out there a little less than an hour, but emergency responders are out there just because when you got a semi that can't move, it's a little bit bigger deal than the rest, right? Hopefully it clears soon.
Traffic is sponsored by Richlawn's Tire and Service Center.
Richlawn's Tire and Service Centers. 5 locations and all easy to find. Visit richlawns.com when you're due for service.
Kind of a weird weather pattern today. We woke up with a high of about, about 50 degrees, and that's about our high today. You experienced it at like 7 o'clock this morning. Decreasing clouds today, windy. Temps will be cooling into the 40s this afternoon. Clear tonight, a low of 28. Tuesday, mostly sunny and a high of 49. Clouds on the increased, chance of rain on Wednesday later in the day, and a high of 52. 51 and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:09.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Well, happy to be back after a long weekend. Happy Monday to you, Jessica.
Happy Monday, and a big thank you to all the veterans out there today.
Yes, no doubt about that. My father served in the Army in the 60s. My wife's father served in Vietnam. I had an uncle who passed away a couple of years ago who was in the Air Force and was overseas, stationed for much of his military career in Germany. So thank you to all of our veterans today.
It might be nice, too, for the veterans who are listening right now. We'd love to know about your experience and when and where you served. You can always join us on the talk and text line 855-616-1620. Once again, 855-616-1620. We'd love to hear from you today.
It's 11:10. Some big stories that we're following here this morning.
And now it's time for 3 Big Things on Wisconsin's Midday News.
Number 1, their first public appearance together since Election Day. President Joe Biden and Vice President Kamala Harris are together at Arlington National Cemetery right now. A solemn ceremony on this Veterans Day. President Biden laid a wreath at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. President Biden and the First Lady started the day hosting veterans and military members at the White House. Today, the president will also announce new efforts to address toxic exposures for veterans and more funding for education.
President-elect Donald Trump going to work building out his cabinet. Congresswoman Elise Stefanik, a top Republican in House leadership, accepting Donald Trump's offer to serve as his ambassador to the United Nations. Trump also reveals former ICE Director Tom Homan will be his border czar. It comes as the GOP prepares to lead the Senate. And there is more. Details from ABC News senior congressional correspondent Rachel Scott, who's in West Palm Beach.
Republicans will cast a secret ballot to elect a new Republican leader. It comes as Mitch McConnell is stepping down from Republican leader after serving in that position for decades. Elise Stefanik will have to go through a confirmation process, but that position of border czar does not require Senate confirmation.
Yeah, McConnell's been in place in leader of the Senate Republican Conference since 2007.
Number 3, the last supermoon of the year. Keep your eyes on the sky this week. The supermoon streak continues for the 4th month in a row. And that makes sense. Because doesn't it feel like this year we've just had amazing moon after amazing moon?
Yeah, so I get lost in this, right? Because I feel like we bring it up and it's like, well, it's the last one you'll see till 2045, and then like the next month there's another one.
See,
like,
it all depends on what kind of moon it is. So here we go, though, with another supermoon. So the streak, 4th month in a row, and its peak viewing should be Friday.
Moon that just happens to be a bit closer to Earth, so it looks larger and brighter than usual.
So you get a lot of moon viewing.
Astrophysicist Jackie Faherty of the American Museum of Natural History.
Go outside at sunset, watch the sunset because it's usually beautiful, and then turn around and look the other way because the moon will be rising.
Moonrise at dusk or setting at dawn provide the best effect.
There is like a little mental trick that your mind does on you when it sees the moon close to the horizon, and the moon will look larger.
Michael Toscano, CBS News.
That's why they call it a supermoon.
Yeah.
It's just going to look big,
Sure.
big in the sky. Michael Toscano of CBS there. When a supermoon happens in November, it's commonly referred to as a beaver moon.
What?
It's called the beaver moon because of the timing. November is the month beavers commonly prepare for winter by building dams and lodges. You know, they're storing all their food, and they grow thick coats. So it's a moon for them. But here's the other thing, Greg, and you thought you were confused before?
Yeah.
Well, the beaver moon is also known as the frost moon and the morning moon. And technically speaking, it's a supermoon.
Does this have everything to do with it happening in November? It's all these things? Do the beavers know this is happening?
I don't think the beavers know.
They don't?
But if they did, they'd be proud.
Okay. Suppose they would. Maybe it gives them a little bit more light to build those things out.
Bottom line is, you don't have to remember any of that. Just remember when you look up at the moon and you see it looks fantastic this week, and especially on Friday, you'll know, that's another supermoon.
Yeah, I'm going Beaver Moon. 11:14 on WTMJ.
When we're out in your town, come say hi to us as we broadcast live from the Pebble Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
Anytime you hear us when we're out on the road, you can find us live from our brand new mobile studio.
Whether it be Summerfest, EAA, Opening Day, Air and Water Show, wherever we may be, you can see us on the radio, live from the Pella Windows and Doors of Wisconsin mobile studio.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
We are Wisconsin's radio station.
WTMJ.
Hey, Greg Matzik here. If you've not been to Potawatomi's Sportsbook, you got to get down there. I will not be there tonight. Typically on Mondays, Gary Ellerson and I do a Potawatomi Sportsbook Football Monday, but it was the bye week, so it's the bye week for us. So we got a week off, but that should not stop you from heading down to Potawatomi Sportsbook and checking out some Monday night action tonight. 2,000 square foot video wall ensures the game you are looking for will be on. I can promise you that. It's unbelievable. 2 levels, VIP deck on the top level, and the beautiful floor level where you've got comfortable furniture, tables, grab some food from the kitchen, full service bar, really everything. You can make your wagers at the kiosks, which are self-serve, or just head over to the counter and do it with a live person handling everything for you. It's Potawatomi Sportsbook. It's all new. It is gorgeous. And it's part of a newly redesigned Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee.
You want to feel important. You want to be a part of something bigger, something that matters and can help change things. You want to feel like you belong. We know. We felt that way too. And that's why we did something about it. We aren't just Army National Guard soldiers. We are normal people just like you. And together, we can make a difference. Take on your legacy. Visit NationalGuard.com to find out more.
Sponsored by the Wisconsin Army National Guard. Aired by the Wisconsin Broadcasters Association and this station.
Welcome back to Ask Hassellus.
Where the heck is everybody?
Hassellus mattress showrooms are employee-free. Test your Beauty Rest, Sealy Posturepedic, or Serta Perfect Sleeper without salespeople breathing down your neck.
Okay.
That means we can sell for way less. Our 43 beds from the top 5 brands start at $393.
Yes, but...
And through Monday, get an extra $248 credit just for shopping local.
I just have one question.
What's that?
Where the heck is everybody?
Find an employee-free showroom near you at Hassellus.com.
Kind of a crazy story that broke toward the end of last week. Racist and very pointed text messages being sent to a variety of people across 14 local states, racist in nature and not pleasant. Local federal investigators, the FBI, digging into this to try and figure out if there is a central source. We welcome in ABC's Jim Ryan for more. Jim, this started late last week. What do we know now, some 48 hours or so after the initial news?
Hey, Greg, we saw these, they're popping up all over the place. First in 1 or 2 states, then 3, now 14 states altogether, including Wisconsin, including Texas, Louisiana, Alabama, a variety of states around the country, including California, too. So it's not just an East Coast, a West Coast, a Central. It's happening all over the place. We don't know how many text messages were sent out. Might never know what that number is, but the targets all had something in common. They were African American. They were people of color. The text messages, shockingly and disturbingly, were quite personalized. Some of them saying, "Dear John Smith," or whatever a name might be, the name of the recipient, you are being ordered to report to a plantation to pick cotton. It says that a van will pick the person up, and you're in plantation group W or 24 or what. Something, that part of it also was customized to the recipient, and really disturbing stuff. Not just because it was targeted at individual people, but because some of the people who receive them are preteens and teenagers.
Jim, I talked with a young Milwaukee woman on Friday who received one of these messages, and the first thing she thought of was, who sent this to me? Yeah. Are the feds any closer to figuring out who sent these messages? Well,
they may be getting close. I mean, if you, for example, there's a company that is a tech provider, that allows people to create their own phone numbers. A company called Text Now. And this company has issued a statement, told ABC News that one or more of its users might have been creating these messages and sending them out. Those accounts have been shut down. The FBI has been alerted to this. The big question is, was there a crime committed? Is there something that can be charged in all of this? And maybe not, Jessica, but some of the messages did apparently contain threats, saying that if you don't report to this plantation, you will be killed. I mean, that's a blatant threat that could result in some very serious charges.
It was just so disturbing. I mean, she read the text to me, and to just pick up your phone and see that, I can't imagine being in her shoes. How did the person or people responsible get the names and numbers? I think that's another big question out there today.
Well, the numbers, it may be a matter of piecing things together because, all sorts of identities are out there on the dark web, including cell phone numbers. They may be tied to people's names that way, or using AI or some other sort of technology, people are able to take the phone number, match it to a name, and also match it to some social media that shows pictures of the person, and in that way, and identifies them as being a person of color. Then it creates this text message and shoots it off to this individual person, naming that person and targeting them. So I suspect that that's how it's being done. It's just a matter of taking aggregate information off the dark web and turning it into these vile text messages.
Jim, is there any thought, in my head goes, you're preying on the emotion of these people, where if they do some sort of response, now they're in it deeper, right? Whoever is sending out these text messages, it's just a giant phishing attempt through the text message system, that if you respond, all of a sudden your information will be compromised even further.
Yeah, possibly. And I think that, there was some thinking last week that there may be malware attached with these, so that if you do reply, then yes, you're giving up information about yourself or possibly information internal to your phone. So people are being told, don't respond to these things, but do forward the message on to FBI.gov. There is a reporting site on there where they're building up this clearinghouse of information and building a case against whoever might be responsible.
Jim, what's the reaction from people in other states? Because this young lady, she's 17 years old, who I talked to here in Milwaukee, this African-American woman who got this, she told me she was hurt by the text, and she also said she feels helpless. She feels hopeless. She said at this point in her life, she's kind of expecting things like this. She says she had no hope for the regeneration of this country, and that was just heartbreaking to hear. How are people in other states responding to this text?
Well, in much the same way. There's anger. There's feeling victimized, especially since these people have your name and your phone number. And yeah, that sense of kind of despair, I think, that how far has the country come? And at the same time, if these are coming from outside the United States, and somebody who's perpetrated these messages, that may be the exact reaction that they're looking for, this sense of division and isolation and discord, not only among political parties, but among racial populations in this country. The attorneys general in Washington, D.C., in Virginia, Jersey, Illinois, other states have condemned the messages, and they're asking people who feel threatened by them to forward those on and to contact law enforcement.
ABC's Jim Ryan. We appreciate it, Jim. Thank you.
All right.
Thanks, Jim.
Greg.
You bet. Coming up next, we'll check in with Tyler Moore, get a look at our week's weather here. When will it rain next? And are we considering a drop-off anytime soon in temps? Tyler joins us after this.
Craft your Brewers mini plan for the 2025 season, featuring all new 6-packs and 12-packs. Get in on the action with great ticket rates, marquee matchups, and priority seating. Plus, you'll get a limited edition Brewers Crowler with each 12-pack or pair of 6-packs. Looking to customize your games to fit your schedule? Build your own ticket plan options are also available. Pick the plan for you at brewers.com/ticket finder.
Craig Manzik here. I want to tell you about Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center. Dan Krause has been protecting families' legacies since 1999. That's right. And on this Veterans Day, we thank Dan for his service. 20 years in the Army, and now he's helping folks like you and me plan out their estates and wills. Dan Krause has a passion for doing this. Started with doing his families back in the day, and now he's built a beautiful business out of it. It's Krause Estate Planning with offices in Brookfield, Madison, and in Oregon. Connect with Krause if you've been thinking about going down this path. It can be kind of confusing. Tax laws are constantly changing. The folks at Krause Estate Planning understand how all of this works, and they also understand that your situation is custom to you. There is no cookie-cutter approach here. Check in with Krause Estate Planning and Elder Law Center. Learn more about this business by visiting estateplanningpeople.com.
I know you have a great dog, right? But you know there's room for improvement. At Sit Means Sit Dog Training, we can help. Our attention-based training system uses modern technology to help you better communicate with your dog, even in high distraction. When you schedule a free consultation with us, you will have the opportunity to see our training in action and meet for yourself our happy dogs off leash and under control. Contact Sit Means Sit today at 262-361-3641 or find us on the web at sitmeansitwaukesha.com to schedule your free consultation so you can have a happy, confident, and obedient dog.
For over a century, local broadcasting has evolved with the needs of the community. We move past the stigmas of opinion journalism and bring the most relevant news online, on air, and on the go. You have trusted us with your news, sports, weather, and entertainment. Trust us to keep moving with you. Text radio to 52886 and tell Congress local broadcasting is here to stay.
So I get out of bed this morning and I ask Alexa, what's the temperature forecast for today? And it says it's currently 50 degrees. The high will be 50 degrees.
Yo.
It's like, whoa, or it's like 7 in the morning. How do we do this?
That's it. That's all we get.
Yeah, you're right. It's going to be breezy. I know that temperatures are going to decrease. But all in all, in the 50s in November here as we welcome in from TMJ4, Kristen Kershane, our meteorologist. Hi, Kristen. How are you?
Hey, how are you guys?
Doing great. So, yeah, kind of an interesting start to the week here after a pretty wet weekend.
Yeah, it was kind of a wet weekend. We definitely need the rain. We're still behind for fall, so we're at a deficit. We do have a drought. So even though the timing of the rain wasn't great because it came on the weekend, we can all say we're grateful for the rain, right? We needed it. But also, temperatures pretty mild. And this month, the temperatures have been really mild. We're running about 7.5 degrees above normal for November so far. It's just been a really, really mild month here. And it looks like that trend continues for the most part as we head into the next week.
I don't think people are complaining about that. We like that. Kristen, we want to know from you. Since you're a meteorologist, do you get into the moons? Do you like to watch the moon rise and the supermoons? Or are you into this big, the fourth consecutive supermoon that we have coming up here this week?
Yeah, I love talking about what's going on in the sky. I love watching the moon rise and the moon set. It's beautiful. I love to draw attention to those things to get other people to look up at the sky. I hadn't looked so far this week. So you're saying it's the fourth supermoon of the year, is that right?
It's the fourth consecutive supermoon. Because we were saying it just feels like this year that it feels like we've had more supermoons than usual. And I think part of it has to do with that streak, because this is the fourth month in a row that we're talking about it. But I don't know if you knew this. We did not know this. But the supermoon, it's also commonly referred to as a beaver moon.
Well, the beaver moon is the full moon for the month of November. So each month has a name generally for the moon. So November is the beaver moon. And I did know that.
Yeah, we are fascinated by this, right? So do beavers know that this is happening?
I don't know. I don't know if they're aware, but maybe someone should tell them. They might be flattered. I don't know. They're going to be busy, though. I think that's the reason, right, that it's called the beaver moon, is because that the beavers are more active at this time of the year. Because, there's the hunter's moon, there's the pink moon, the flower moon. So they all kind of have to do with whatever is happening at that point in the year, in the season.
You are spot on with that.
You nailed
it.
Beavers
are busy in November.
They are busy.
Next chance of rain, Kristen, when do we have it this week?
It's going to come on Wednesday. And at this point, it doesn't look like a big rain, and it's not going to rain all day on Wednesday. Best chance looked like it would probably come kind of late in the day on Wednesday as far as that rain chance goes. And again, not real impressive. Maybe another chance for rain trying to move in here sometime late in the weekend.
Sounds good. We appreciate it, Kristen. Thanks so much.
Thanks, Kristen.
All right. Talk to you guys later.
Sounds good. 11:28 on WTMJ. News coming up in a couple.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Oh, man, it's getting so expensive to dine out, but not at the Mineshaft Restaurant in Hartford. WTMJ's John Mercure here. There is free pizza today at the Mineshaft. Every Monday when you buy one pizza, you get a second pizza free. Buy 2 pizzas, get 2 free. Buy 5, get 5. You buy 100 pizzas, you get 100 pizzas for free. The best Monday dining value anywhere. Business owners and managers, bring in pizza for your loyal employees and clients. Your second pizza is free. Your employees are going to love it. It's great pizza. Coaches, bring in your team for free pizza. Your kids and grandkids can safely play in that huge game room. It's quietly tucked away from the dining area. It's big food. It's big fun. It's the Mineshaft. Order now for your employees and pick up your hot pizza shortly, or dine in the cool and comfortable Mineshaft restaurant in beautiful downtown Hartford or near the EAA in Oshkosh. Mondays are tough enough. Don't cook. Buy one pizza today. Get one free. MineShaftRestaurant.com. It's the amazing Mineshaft.
It's 11:30. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News. It's Monday, November 11th. Your top story, a message of gratitude on Veterans Day.
I'm Jessica Ty, a Wisconsin football coach arrested.
Decreasing clouds today, windy. Temperatures will cool throughout the day. Ultimately, in the evening hours, a low of 28, but from the early 50s, mid-50s, down into the 40s this afternoon. Tuesday, mostly sunny, partly cloudy with a high of 49. 51 and decreasing temperatures here in Milwaukee at 11:31. Governor Evers says it's important for the state of Wisconsin to take care of its veterans. Today is Veterans Day.
To ensure our veterans and their families have every resources and to live their fullest and most successful lives.
Evers making the comments during a special Veterans Day ceremony today at the state capitol.
An ousted Racine County principal files a federal lawsuit against the Raymond School District alleging his civil rights were violated. Jeff Peterson is accusing the district of discriminating against him because he's gay. The Raymond School Board voted last December not to renew Peterson's contract. Peterson claims former school board candidates conspired with the board to violate his equal protection rights. This lawsuit seeks Peterson's reinstatement as Raymond School principal. The school board says the allegations are ridiculous and extremely disappointing.
A former NFL coach who is currently working with the University of Wisconsin football program arrested for drunk driving. The Wisconsin State Journal reports Jack Del Rio was under the influence when he hit a street sign and drove into a fence in Madison early Friday morning. In a statement, Wisconsin Athletics says it was aware of the incident and is taking the matter very seriously. Del Rio has been a senior advisor to Luke Fickell's staff since the start of the season.
A Mequon murder case finally closed after 65 years of investigation.
In 1959, a human skeleton was found in a Mequon culvert. The remains were suspected to belong to a 7-year-old boy from Michigan. His adoptive parents, William and Hilja Jutila, were charged with his homicide, but those charges were dismissed in 1966 due to lack of evidence. Those remains have now been identified as Chester Alfred Briney, the adopted son of the Jutilas, both of whom died in 1988. Briney will be formally laid to rest Friday in Port Washington. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Milwaukee officials have made their pick for the 2024 city Christmas tree, harvesting a 64-foot-tall blue spruce. It'll take place Tuesday morning at 48th and Washington on the city's west side. An official lighting ceremony scheduled for December 5th in the Deer District. 2024 marks the 111th year of the Christmas tree lighting in the city, the longest-running official tree in the United States, other than New York City's.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
I'm sure it's sounding like it, too, wherever I go.
Everywhere you go.
Everywhere
Work,
I go.
Target, everywhere you go. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 11:34.
Hi, I'm Lori from Sussex, and I'm a future resident of the Westerly. The pool was the big draw for me. I'm also looking forward to the camaraderie on the rooftop patio, and I might have to take up golf. Well, I have specific needs and looked at quite a few retirement communities, and nothing really checked off all the boxes until I learned about the Westerly. I'm confident now that I made the right decision.
If you're seeking Lake Country's finest, don't miss out on the Westerly opening this spring. Visit livingwesterly.com.
Vince Vitrano here for Connect Chiropractic. Numbness, tingling in the hands, arms, legs, feet. Time to go see Dr. Alex Young and my team at Connect Chiropractic. Regular chiropractic care can bring life-changing results for folks who suffer from neuropathy and fibromyalgia, nervous system issues that can be corrected. And no worries about twisting, cracking, or popping. The docs at Connect Chiro use all the same method, a special tool that is pain-free and effective for your adjustments. Visit them in Delafield and Wauwatosa or get started online at GoConnectChiro.com.
Visit family-owned Ken Michaels Furniture and our in-store design centers where you'll still find beautiful, luxurious, heirloom-quality American-made furniture. Right now, save 30 to 35% store-wide and take advantage of our complimentary design services. Whether you're moving, renovating, or updating, our designers will help your vision become a reality. Visit Ken Michaels Furniture in Brookfield on Capitol Drive and in Greenfield on Highway 100 to save 30 to 35% store-wide today. Sleep better and save more with mattresses from Milwaukee Mattress and Ken Michaels Furniture. Handcrafted in our Milwaukee factory, our mattresses utilize natural materials like cotton cushioning, which dissipates body heat, Joma wool quilts for warm wintry nights and cool summer evenings, and natural latex providing superior conformability and pressure relief for aching joints. Stop in today at any Ken Michaels Furniture store and save up to 50% compared to national brands.
Time for a WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call That's All Sports Desk. The Packers reconvene in Green Bay. They'll get after it this week. Practice after the bye week. They'll head to Chicago this weekend to face the 4-6 Bears. Meanwhile, the Bucks, coming off a loss to the Boston Celtics, continue a 3-game homestand on Tuesday night against the Toronto Raptors. College basketball tonight, it's 18th-ranked Marquette on the home floor, taking on Central Michigan. Coverage of that game can be heard on 94.5 ESPN, beginning at 7:30.
Let's get you an update on the roads right now with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. We're doing pretty good as far as crashes. No big crashes to let you know about. We do have a few disabled vehicles out on the system. The one I want to let you know about right now, I'm letting you know about it mainly because it's just a busy area. It's in Kenosha County. You've got a disabled vehicle, and it looks like an emergency responder just pulled up as well. It's on 4194 South at Wisconsin 165. Right shoulder is blocked due to a car that's broken down. Once again, emergency responders have arrived at the scene, but there's just a lot of traffic moving over there, and people are slowing down to take a peek at what's going on.
Well, decreasing temperatures today, kind of breezy. Should see some sun, however. Started in the 50s, will end the day in the 40s. Overnight low about 28. Mostly sunny, partly cloudy on Tuesday, a high of 49. It is 49 and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:37.
And I'm proud to be an American, where at least I know I'm free. And I won't.
Well, never a bad time to thank veterans for their sacrifice and their service, everything that they've done to keep us safe here in the United States of America. Of course, we focus in on it on Veterans Day. And someone who does more for veterans than anybody I know is the president of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight, Karen Relke, who joins us in our studio. Thank you so much for everything that you do to honor our veterans with plane after plane after plane that is filled, bringing our veterans to Washington, D.C.
Well, thanks, Greg. It's an honor. I know I speak for the entire Stars and Stripes Honor Flight team when I say that it's truly our joy to watch our veterans finally get the day of thanks that they've earned decades ago.
You guys just wrapped up another fantastic year of honor flights. If you could kind of summarize this year, what were some of the highlights?
There were so many. We flew about 700 veterans this year, so fantastic. We had another great partnership with the Brewers, Packers, and Bucks, which was a treat. We flew a couple of World War II veterans, which there aren't too many of those left, so it was an honor to meet them. And just As it is every year, it's just really a privilege to watch the Vietnam vets in particular have their moment, get their respect, heal a bit, and really feel that they haven't been forgotten.
So how many trips did you take in 2024, and how many are you planning for 2025?
In general, we fly about 6 times a year. So April, May, June, September, October, November, to kind of avoid the bad DC weather in both the summer and the winter. Generally, we charter 2 planes at once for each flight date. So it's around 12 plane loads of veterans, each with a guardian every year.
Is there anything different about the flights coming up in 2025, and any groups in particular that you would really like to reach out to and say, think about us, you can be on this flight too?
Sure. So anyone that signs up now is going to fly in the second half of 2025, because we do have some vets that are waiting their turn for the spring flights. So right now we're flying veterans who served active duty beyond boot camp in June of 1975 or earlier. And there's a couple of groups that we'd really love to reach out to. Actually, maybe 3. So for whatever reason, our vets of color have not stepped forward to take their Stars and Stripes honor flight as much as we had hoped. So we would love to fly them. Our veterans who served in combat but who have really painful memories, we'd like to reassure them that it's a safe day, that it's a joyful day full of love, and that we walk with them on that journey of healing. And then for the vets that didn't serve in combat zones, that think, I didn't deserve it, let's let the other guys go, most of them have gone. And it's their turn. They sacrificed, they gave up holidays and birthdays and time with family to serve our country. So regardless of the role, active duty in June of 75 or earlier, it's your time.
Yeah, so active duty, right? It doesn't mean you have to have fought in Vietnam or the Korean War or World War II. If you served your country and were never deployed, you're still in play here.
Yes, and actually it was so interesting, Greg. We have sometimes classrooms of kids that want to write to our veterans, and we had a couple of dentists, Air Force dentists, fly with us that served during Vietnam, but not in a combat zone. And one of the kids wrote to one of the dentists something that I thought was so profound for a 5th grader. She said, thank you for being a dentist in the Air Force. The pilots couldn't have done their job if their teeth hurt.
True.
And I thought that was just amazing. And when the vet read that, the dentist, he got a little teary. It was just, they all deserve to feel appreciated. And every role is significant, whether they were in combat or not, because the vets that weren't in combat supported the ones who were.
This really is more than just a day trip. It seems like for almost everybody involved, whether it's the veterans or those going on the trip to make this work for the veterans, that it's an emotional experience.
It is. And what's so fascinating for us afterwards, after a flight, is to ask some of the veterans what the most meaningful part was. And for some of them, it is the healing that they needed at the Vietnam Wall, honoring their vet brothers or sisters who were lost in combat. But for others, it's finally getting the respect. Even if they didn't serve in a combat zone, many of them came home to scorn and rejection, and they buried that hurt for a long time. And so to finally realize that we remember, that we honor them, and we're truly grateful, and to try to right that old wrong is really important.
And when you talk about coming home, too, I think about when these honor flights return home at Mitchell Airport. It is a sight. I remember one time I was just coming back from a flight, and I stopped to clap as well and be a part of this. That is really an experience. And is that something that anybody can join in on, just to thank our veterans? And so they have a homecoming when they come back to Milwaukee?
It is, for sure. We get great crowds at Mitchell Airport. The airport's been a great partner of ours for many years. And really, so many vets talk about getting off the plane in 1968 to people throwing things at them, yelling things, coming home to a job that was supposed to be there that wasn't there anymore, to even sometimes relatives and friends who wouldn't speak to them. So to get off the plane in Milwaukee at the end of a Stars and Stripes honor flight and see all those people there with flags and signs that say things like, you went there for us, so we came for you, is just a really healing and cathartic and beautiful day for them.
Karen Relke is the president of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight. I can speak to my own experience. I was a guardian for Sergeant Maxwell, and he was going to walk through the streets of Washington, D.C. No wheelchair, Greg. I don't need a wheelchair, right? And he was concerned about some of his, other former veterans in their opportunity to make it through without getting teary-eyed. He is grizzled old sergeant of the Army. And he broke down a couple of times, right? Because even though he had heard about what happens and what you see and what you experience, positive thoughts, negative thoughts, just a reminder of what it was like, it really does tug at your heartstrings. And the welcome home, he was in tears seeing his family. He had heard about the welcome home but never experienced it. Mm-hmm. It is remarkable to watch all of that play out throughout the course of a day.
It really is. And people will ask us, we'll hear kind of rumblings. Well, why, what's so important about one day? Why do they need to go to Washington? Can't we just say thank you for your service? But really, the full day of honor, whether the memorials were a needed visit for them or not, is what makes it so impactful. It's not just a moment. It's a full day. And we had a vet that flew with us a few years ago. And what many don't know is that we fly through Dulles Airport in the D.C. area, and they have a beautiful group of volunteers that come out, hundreds of them, to welcome the vets to D.C. And we had a Vietnam Marine who came up to me at the first stop. I think it was at the FDR Memorial. And he walked over to me and he said, "If today stops now, it's the best day of my life."
Oh, wow.
And he started to cry. And he said, when all I wanted to do when I was in Vietnam was to get home to my family. And my sister was my best friend. And when I came home, she was so anti-war that she wouldn't open the door to me. And he said to have all those kids at Dulles cheering for us and thanking us and shaking our hands, it might be the best day of my life. And the day had barely gotten started.
It's so powerful.
It really is. And just the whole, we try to build in some surprises for the vets. Greg knows about that. And just really to honor them every way we can think of and make it one about 20-hour period where they really feel valued.
Is there also something to be said for just having these veterans together? Do you find that sometimes they share stories? Because you do have certain veterans who don't want to share the stories, who don't want to open up about their experiences. Do you find that when they're all together that they do share their stories?
Yes, such a great question. Yes, very much so. And we actually work hard to try to seat vets next to each other on the plane who may have had similar experiences so that they can share common ground. And we had an event at the Bucks game the other night. They had their Hoops for Troops game, and they gave us some tickets for the vets that were on their plane in October. And I was sitting behind a vet who told me that he made such instant friends with the guys on either side of him on the airplane that they had gotten together 3 times since October, and they were introducing all their wives next month. And we just love to hear that, whether the vet is used to being in a vet community like the VFW or the American Legion, or they have never joined something like that. They feel definitely a camaraderie on flight day with the other veterans.
What made you want to get involved with Honor Flight the way that you have?
Interestingly, it was my middle daughter who was interviewing World War II veterans on video for a school project, which actually continues to this day at Arrowhead High School, even though she's graduated college already. So listening to the stories was just incredible for me. And she had reached out to Stars and Stripes Honor Flight to get more vets to fly. And the more I started hearing the stories, the more fascinated I was. And at that time, it was the World War II generation. And, they would admit, although many of them came home and went right back to work, by and large, they had always had the respect, at least at some level. It was the Korean and the Vietnam vets that really either we didn't understand the conflict that they were in very well as a society, or, enough people were actively opposing the war that they just didn't have that. And so the more I got involved with Stars and Stripes Honor Flight and watched the veterans of Korea and Vietnam heal, just the more rewarding and fulfilling it is.
The veterans do not pay to go on these flights, and that's probably something, just a good reminder for people that if you're a veteran, you're not paying, but somebody ultimately pays. So who is funding these flights, and do you need more of that?
Yeah, that's a fantastic question as well. So we are all donor funded. So no government funds, no breaks from the airline on the price of the charter airline. It's all donations, whether it's large corporate donations from people like Sendix and We Energies and Newman Companies, or it's, $5, $10, $25. All are important to us and help us fund the flights. You're correct. The vets do not pay a penny. I like to tell vets they can come without a dime in their pocket, and we're going to give them a great day. And right now, we have an anonymous donor covering the Guardian donation, too.
Oh, wow.
And we don't know how much longer that's going to last. So definitely encouraging anyone, a Vietnam vet or a Korean vet who's interested in going, you can bring a son, daughter, or grandchild for free right now. So now's the time definitely to sign up.
So if somebody wants to get signed up, Karen, how do they go about the process?
Yep. StarsAndStripesHonorFlight.org is the spot to go. There's both a veteran and Guardian online application. Or they can call us at 262-238-7740, and we'll send an application if they're not a computer person. And you can really find all kinds of info on our website as well, but really hoping that vets who are listening who have not yet taken their Stars and Stripes Honor Flight, our Vietnam and Korean vets, that they'll consider joining us.
It's a moving experience for everybody involved. And as somebody who's been on so many of these flights, I'm sure it is each and every time you go on one.
Yeah, they're all different. And the stories are all different. And I learn something new from the vets every time.
Karen, appreciate you joining us. Thank you for all the work that you do.
Thanks again. And to any vets that are listening, happy Veterans Day.
Yes. Karen Relke, president of Stars and Stripes Honor Flight. It's 11:50 on WTMJ.
By now, you've probably figured out what's most important to us at Semper Fi is our reputation. Building a great character-driven remodeling company is actually quite easy. It's just the first 20 years that are a bit challenging. Great companies are collections of great people, and we have great people. They're the ones that helped us build our reputation, but they only come after you've built something they want to be part of. We don't necessarily have to look for good people. They come to us. And that's what you want when you hire an exterior remodeling company. Someone who's going to stand behind their work, and a company that is truly proud of their people. And it's because they do great work. And when you're ready, we'll do great work for you too. This is Brad Youngluth with Semper Fi Roofing and Exteriors, your local, veteran-owned and operated exterior remodeling company. For your new roof, siding, window and door installation, or masonry work, you can count on Semper Fi to keep you safe, warm, and dry.
We keep you safe, warm, and dry, Semper Fi!
At Gruber Law Offices, our biggest priority is the care and service we provide to our clients. We know accidents can be overwhelming, and we're here to help every step of the way. Call now. One call, that's all.
AccuNet Mortgage is an equal housing lender. NMLS ID 255368.
Steve and Ashley heard our radio ads over the years, and when it came time to buy their first home, they clicked on the blue button. We sent them a credit-verified pre-approval the same day and upgraded to a rock-solid, fully verified and guaranteed pre-approval shortly thereafter. We also let them know about AccuNet's property-specific pre-approval, where we might be able to include those magic words, no appraisal required. When they wrote their next offer, several $1,000s over asking to make sure someone else didn't end up sleeping in their dream home, their property-specific rock-solid guaranteed pre-approval did include that most powerful phrase, no appraisal required, and the sellers picked Steve and Ashley's offer over several others. If you think all mortgage lenders and pre-approvals are the same, think again. Go with the local mortgage lender that has the tools and know-how to help you win. We'll also likely save you $1,000 to $3,000 in closing costs for exactly the same rate as your bank. Whether you're looking to buy or refi, click on the blue button today at accunet.com.
Hi, this is John Neal, CPA, founder of Right Choice Tax and best-selling author on how to have less stress with the IRS. The IRS has you in their crosshairs. We are local and know how to deal with the IRS or state and solve your situation. Just the other week, we successfully removed the target on Tim. He had been audited and was told he owed the IRS. We fought the notice and got him a refund instead. We were also successful with Nate to get $94,000 of penalties removed. This is why I started Right Choice Tax Resolution, to help people fight the IRS and state. You don't know the ins and outs of taxes or the more than 20 penalties they can impose on you. Make the right choice and call us at 844-222-1192. We want to help so your bank account doesn't get wiped out, your paycheck or Social Security garnished, or a lien put on your house. Get rid of that stress and get back to enjoying life. Call us at 844-222-1192 or visit rightchoicetax.us right now to book a meeting.
When you wish upon a star,
All right, so it's November 11th, and it's 11/11 for those who keep score at home, who like the numerical component of how our month and days line up. I was saying before the show began today that I was hoping our show would begin at exactly 11/11 on 11/11, because I thought that would mean something.
Wow, mind blown.
I know, just dare to dream, right? And then, we're through our morning meeting and talking to Jim Ryan from ABC, and all of a sudden, bloop, plops up in my email from Gina. She didn't even say anything about it. She just emailed this link to us, how on 11/11 you are supposed to manifest your dreams into reality on 11/11. This is the day to do it. Now, you don't have to necessarily do it at 11/11 on 11/11, just somewhere throughout the course of the day. Where do you find this stuff? This is a trending topic, Gina, and you put it front and center in us.
That's a great question. It's becoming more of a national phenomenon, though. Like, more people are doing this and getting involved in the manifestation, I feel like.
Well, 11 is considered a very powerful number when you're talking about inspiration, numerology, spiritual insight. When the 11th day of the 11th month arrives, the energy is amplified. Are you feeling that, Gina?
I hope so, because 11/11 also supports career and financial growth.
Oh.
And who doesn't want that?
Well, I didn't tell you guys this, but our show did not start at exactly at 11/11 today, but I took note of the time when it hit 11/11 on 11/11. And for a moment, if you were watching on our YouTube page, you would have noticed that I closed my eyes and Greg, I walked into that 11/11 portal.
You did. You left me there for like 30 seconds, huh?
Nah, it's baloney. I didn't do that.
Well, it was 11:09. I was trying to stretch weather. I was like, I can't do this for another minute and a half and start right on time here. How to manifest with the 11/11 portal. Well, from now to the end of the month, the universe is offering you a special opportunity to align your heart, your joy and vision with your mind, creating a couple of weeks of positive energy for a powerful start. How about doing a ritual at 11:11 a.m. or p.m. on 11/11? So if you missed out today, this morning, you've got another opportunity tonight, your moment to focus on what you truly want. Share your dreams with the universe, picture the life you love, and you want to create all those wonderful experiences. Hop into the portal here on 11/11.
It just sounds like it's all bogus. It seems like, but if you take a moment and you step back and you think about, okay, if this is really about setting clear intentions, visualizing your goals and letting go of any beliefs that limit you, okay. Those are all smart things to do.
Well, there you go. I am only capable of focusing on one thing a day, so it's either 11/11 portal or the beaver moon. I haven't decided which one I'm going to do.
11/11, make a wish. I had a good girlfriend, actually, I still have her, Jerry Marcello. Grew up with her, went to Brookfield East High School, and she would always say that. And to this day, when I see 11/11 hit the clock, I think about Jerry.
Very cool. It's 11:56 on WTMJ.
Think you're smarter than the people you hear on the radio? Well, time to prove it with our Trivia Showdown. Brought to you by Quizmaster. Go head-to-head with WTMJ personalities in trivia competition. Check WTMJ.com or text trivia to the WTMJ talk and text line 855-616-1620 for a list of dates and locations of our next Trivia Showdown. Benefiting Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive. Only here on WTMJ.
Hey, it's WTMJ's Greg Matzik here. I want to tell you about Flanners Home Entertainment. If you've not stopped by their showroom in a while, you'll want to do it. Flanners is incredible. The place to upgrade and simplify the technology at your house. The video system, the audio system, whatever you need, locally owned Flanners will help you through the process. I've got a TV I bought at Flanners like 20 years ago. It's still running. It still looks fantastic. We were watching it yesterday as we were cleaning things up in our daughter's playroom. It's amazing. I can't kill it. It's a beautiful TV. Bought at Flanners. Their expertise led me to the purchase, and it's still working. They've got the good stuff here. TVs, they've got whole house audio systems for you, Sonos speakers, best in class. They can do whole house wiring. They can help install a TV with the right bracket. Big or small, it's locally owned Flanners. Quality service, the best brands all right there. They've got a beautiful showroom in West Dallas. They've got a showroom in Grafton. And online, you can shop 24/7 at Flanners.com. It is sound advice at the best price. Flanners Home Entertainment. Just press play.
No matter how many people are in your family, buying new jackets for the cold weather months can be expensive. But when you shop St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores, prices on cold weather jackets will give you a sigh of relief because thrift store prices mean great deals. And right now we have a great selection. Find great deals on cold weather jackets for the family at St. Vincent de Paul thrift stores on Highway 100 in Layton and Greenfield, 23rd in Lincoln, and 76th and Bradley Road in Milwaukee.
Ooh, you're gonna love it, St. Vincent de Paul.
Can a local bank provide all the big bank services with the friendliness of a small-town neighbor? Waterstone Bank has been doing it for more than a century. This is your Waterstone Bank, and we're invested in the community, supporting education, women's and youth programs, and honoring our brave veterans and frontline heroes. We're at the heart of it all. Welcome to your Waterstone Bank.
Welcome back, Susan. How can I help you today?
Learn more at WSBOnline.com. That's WSBOnline.com. Member FDIC.
WTMJ, W277CV, and WKTI HD2 Milwaukee. From the Annex Wealth Management Studios, this is News Radio WTMJ, a Good Karma brand station.
Had a devastating knee injury, tore my ACL, tore my PCL, shredded my medial meniscus, and had an initial surgery. That really didn't hold. Had another follow-up surgery around 8 years later. That didn't work, and I didn't want to undergo another surgical procedure.
Enough with the surgeries. They didn't ease the pain, and recovery was brutal. Carmen heard about another treatment for pain relief, the non-invasive regenerative treatments at QC Kinetics.
I simply figured, heck, I'm going to pick up the phone and call QC Kinetics. And since I've been treated, my quality of life has dramatically gotten better, and I can't thank QC Kinetics enough.
These are the nation's leaders in regenerative medicine. QC Kinetics uses the body's own healing components to help provide relief and functionality.
10 months ago, I had difficulty walking up and down a flight of steps. Now I can do just about anything I desire. I'm back to the old me.
If you have joint pain, before you consider surgery, call QC Kinetics. The consultation is free.
Call QC Kinetics, 414-285-3474. That's 414-285-3474. 414-285-3474.
My son loves to fly kites, but my active psoriatic arthritis can sometimes hold me back. Now with Skyrizi to treat my skin and joints, I'm ready to go. Skyrizi, risankizumab Riza, a prescription-only 150 milligram injection for adults, helps with less joint pain, stiffness, swelling, and fatigue. For those who also have plaque psoriasis, 90% clearer skin is possible with just 4 doses a year after 2 starter doses.
Don't use if allergic to Skyrizi. Serious allergic reactions and an increased risk of infections or a lower ability to fight them may occur. Before treatment, your doctor should check for infection and tuberculosis. Tell your doctor if you have an infection or symptoms such as fever, sweats, chills, muscle aches, or cough, or if you plan to or recently received a vaccine.
With Skyrizi, there's nothing like clearer skin and better movement, and that means everything. Ask your doctor about Skyrizi today and visit skyrizi.com or call 1-866-SKY-RIZI to learn more.
Protect mom's assets, protect your assets. Call Kraus Estate Planning, estateplanningpeople.com.
Stay up to date with your trusted and relevant source in news, sports, traffic, and weather. We are Wisconsin's radio station. News Radio 620, WTMJ, Milwaukee.
It's 12:01. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, November 11th. Your top story, veterans honored in Wisconsin and across America.
I'm Jessica Ty. Milwaukee election results now certified.
Decreasing clouds and decreasing temperatures today. Windy with temperatures topping out at about 52. We've already hit it today, down into the 40s this afternoon. Clear tonight and a low of 28. Mostly sunny to partly cloudy on Tuesday and a high of 49. 49 and mostly sunny in Milwaukee at 12:02. From the WTMJ Breaking Newsroom, President Biden today taking part in Veterans Day ceremonies at Arlington National Cemetery for the final time as Commander-in-Chief.
Order! Forward shoulder!
After he laid a wreath at the tomb of the unknown soldier, he acknowledged this ceremony will be his last as president.
This is the last time I will stand here at Arlington as Commander-in-Chief. It's been the greatest honor of my life to lead you, to serve you, to care for you, to defend you, just as you defended us, generation after generation after generation.
Stacey Lynn, CBS News, Washington.
On this Veterans Day, Wisconsin Governor Tony Evers is praising our state's veterans.
Wisconsin is home to over 300,000 veterans, and each of them, sacrificing the comforts and safety of home, made it their mission to defend our great state and nation and to protect the values and liberties that we hold dear.
Evers was among the speakers during a special Veterans Day ceremony at the state capitol building.
Votes for the city of Milwaukee officially certified. Milwaukee Election Commission Executive Director Paulina Gutierrez says people can feel confident about the election results.
It's always done in teams, bipartisan, Democrat and Republican, and so people should rest assured that this election has its integrity, its transparency, and security.
And certification was supposed to take place last week, but a hazmat scare forced it to be completed today. City results will now be forwarded to the county for certification next week.
The city of Sheboygan is dealing with a ransomware attack.
The city reports an outside party gained access to Sheboygan's network earlier this month and demanded a ransom. As of this morning, the scope of the attack remains unclear. City officials say they haven't found any evidence of personal information being leaked, but are working with law enforcement on their response to the attack. Phone lines remain open for residents accessing Sheboygan city services. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
Well, firefighters in Southern California who have battled strong Santa Ana winds that pushed flames into neighborhoods last week are getting a bit of a break. ABC's Alex Stone.
A weekend of cooler temperatures and less wind really helped out. Evacuation orders have been lifted on what's called the Mountain Fire. That's a fire in Ventura County that went ripping through over 100 buildings last week in a high Santa Ana wind. Another slight Santa Ana wind event is expected this week, but not to the magnitude of last week. It is much calmer and less smoky here now.
Other side of the country, extreme drought conditions fueled nearly 600 separate fires across New Jersey and New York. An 18-year-old volunteer forest ranger was killed by a falling tree while fighting a fire north of New York City. Time for news about your money. The WTMJ Annex Wealth Management Market Update. The Dow's doing well today, up nearly 300 points at 44,270. NASDAQ off a bit here, down 64 points at 19,222. S&P 500 bouncing back and forth here from red to green, currently down about 2 points at 59.93. Annex Comprehensive Wealth, Annex Private Client, and Annex Ignite. It's financial planning at every level. For details, visit annexwealth.com.
It's time for the Packers to get back to work after the bye. We're looking ahead. Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Saudi Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:05.
Our favorite reason to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler? Free service for life with no fine print. That's right. When you buy your engagement ring or any piece of jewelry at Diamonds Direct, you will never have to pay a dime in the future for sizing, cleaning, or routine maintenance. At Diamonds Direct, there's no gotcha clause, no fine print, no looking for ways to void the warranty. Diamonds Direct, the jeweler you can trust with a no questions asked 100% free lifetime warranty with no strings attached. Come see us to learn more.
Reason number 52 to choose Diamonds Direct over any other jeweler. Only Diamonds Direct gives you a 110% diamond upgrade guarantee. Diamonds Direct will give you 110% of your original purchase price toward the new stone. That's 10% more than you paid the first time. Guaranteed appreciation. Who else does this? There's no fine print and no minimum purchase requirement. It's 10% more, period. Buy with confidence. Diamonds Direct. Your love, our passion.
Hey, WTMJ Sandy Max here to tell you about incredible career opportunities with my friends at Three Pillars Senior Living Communities in Dousman. Three Pillars is rated as the top senior living community in Wisconsin, and it's a certified great place to work. Nursing to dining services, maintenance to housekeeping, you'll find an abundance of rewarding jobs available in a serene setting where you make a difference in the lives of others every day. Go to threepillars.org and click the Careers tab to learn more.
It started with a prediction.
We'll go out there and play basketball and win. And how many games? 6.
It became the culture.
Chance of Bucks in 6.
Being a Bucks fan means you live and breathe Bucks in 6. Brandon Jennings created the prophecy. Tune into Behind the Bucks, the story of Brandon Jennings on the Bucks Plus audio network. Behind the Bucks is presented by Gallagher, your trusted insurance broker and HR and benefits consultant. Available now on bucks.com/plus, the Bucks app, and streaming wherever you get your podcasts.
That's for the culture.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. It's back to work for the Packers after a week off. They'll travel to Chicago to face the 4-6 Bears Sunday afternoon. Packers begin the week 2 games back of the Lions and 1 game back of the Vikings in the NFC North. Bucks 3-game homestand continues Tuesday night against the Toronto Raptors. Doc Rivers' Bucks just 2-8 on the season.
Everybody feels like they're trying to find themselves in this mess of awful losses, and I think we will.
College basketball tonight, 18th-ranked Marquette men's team takes on Central Michigan. Hear the game on 94.5 ESPN with coverage beginning at 7:30.
Take a look at the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. Not too bad out there. A couple disabled vehicles. The first one we'll start with 4145 north at the ramp from Watertown Plank. The right shoulder is blocked due to a disabled vehicle there. That's in Milwaukee County. If we travel south, and this one's close to the Milwaukee County, Racine County border, but technically it is Racine, 4194 south, a little bit beyond the ramp from Elm Road. Right shoulder is blocked due to a disabled vehicle there. And we've got one more. These aren't causing too many problems, just slowing things down the tiniest bit as people take a look as to what's going on. 4194 south at Wisconsin 165. Right shoulder is also blocked there due to a car that's broken down. And that spot, a little bit busier than the others.
Traffic is sponsored by SB Framing Gallery, Milwaukee's distinctive archival framing.
SB Framing Gallery in the 3rd Ward can enhance and protect your artwork for generations. Framing pieces with archival and distinctive design. Learn more at sbframinggallery.com.
Well, we've already hit our high temperature for the day, and that happened earlier this morning. Temperatures will cool off a little bit into the 40s later this afternoon. Going to be sunny, going to be breezy as well. Overnight low of 28. Tomorrow, sunny with temperatures in the low 50s. Right now it's 49 degrees and mostly sunny in Milwaukee at 12:10.
Live from the Annex Wealth Management Studios in downtown Milwaukee, it's Wisconsin's Midday News, making stories come to life. Now, here are your hosts, Greg Matzik and Jessica Ty.
Hope you had a great weekend. Good to be back with you on a Monday after a long weekend myself. So, and my wife was out of town with her sisters and mother. They went on a cruise together, and it's fantastic. Well-deserved, well-earned. They had a lot of fun together. And it was about, 5 days before they left, I realized that my daughters didn't have school on Friday of last week. It's right. Like, oh, boy. You just get lost in the calendar. And so I took Friday off, but we had a lot of fun together. We did some birthday shopping for Mom. We were making banana bread together. I took them rock climbing. We had such a fun day.
Fun day with Dad. I love that. I think that's extra special for them, too. I feel like they really remember days like that when it's just one parent and you get to do all kinds of fun stuff. What a special moment.
We had a lot of fun. We went out for tacos that night, which was a great time, and it's a good weekend. Mom comes back today, so hopefully the house is relatively okay in order. I think we're doing a pretty good job. We're trying.
Better clean up after work today.
There's a lot of laundry to do, that's for sure. It's 12:11, and I'm doing it, by the way. That was not a note for Emily to do laundry when she gets home. No, I'm doing laundry. I'm going to finish up 2 loads before she gets back later today. It's 12:11. Point of clarification there on WTMJ.
It's now at noon on Wisconsin's Midday News.
The Wisconsin Supreme Court is set to hear arguments today in a case that could decide the future of abortion rights in our state. At the heart of this case, whether an abortion law enacted way back in 1849 is still valid today. Abortion rights advocates are optimistic about their chances in this case, while Wisconsin Supreme Court currently holds a liberal majority. A final ruling is expected to take weeks.
Well, millions across the United States commemorating Veterans Day today, federal holiday, honoring active and former U.S. service members. Markets are open, but many government institutions are down today. Banks and even some schools are closed. President Biden making Veterans Day, marking it today, I should say, with ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers following.
President Biden and the First Lady began the day hosting veterans and military members at the White House. They'll visit Arlington National Cemetery and take part in a wreath-laying ceremony at the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. The president will also deliver remarks. The White House says he'll announce his administration has delivered more benefits in health care more quickly to more veterans than ever before. He'll also announce new efforts to address toxic exposures for veterans, provide more funding for education, and tout data showing a record reduction in veteran homelessness. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Locally, veterans and active duty military receive free admission to the Harley-Davidson Museum. Thought that was pretty cool. You can bring an adult guest. You can bring up to 4 kids with you. And if you're going out to eat, check. ask. Firehouse Subs has a deal for veterans today. So veterans should be honored each and every day. Certainly paying close attention today here on November 11th.
Yeah, a big thank you to all our veterans listening today. President-elect Donald Trump is scheduled to meet with President Joe Biden in the Oval Office on Wednesday. Oh, to be a fly on that wall, right? ABC News White House correspondent Karen Travers has her look ahead.
The White House says the first and most important message President Biden will convey to President-elect Donald Trump in their meeting in the Oval Office is a commitment to the peaceful transfer of power and a responsible handoff from one president to the next. Biden National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan said that's in the best tradition of the country. Sullivan said the president plans to talk to Trump about key domestic and foreign policy issues, including the situation in the Middle East and Ukraine. He'll make the case to Trump that the U.S. should not walk away from Ukraine because it would mean more instability in Europe. Karen Travers, ABC News, the White House.
Speaking of Donald Trump, the election win has been good for the stock market, or at least good for the causes and people Donald Trump supports. Greg, the Dow up over 44,000 again today.
Yeah, it's been a big jump. And if you were wondering why Elon Musk was, stumping for Trump over the last, several months, on November 6th, Tesla stock was trading November 5th at $251 a share. It's now up to $338 a share for those keeping score at home. 12:14 on WTMJ, our weekly check-in with Tim Sheehy on the other side.
Wisconsin's Morning News is here for you every weekday morning starting at 6 a.m. Vince Petrano.
Despite the late night and early morning, elections officials in Milwaukee say vote counting went as expected even after having to retabulate more than 30,000 votes.
Eric Billstad.
The FBI, meanwhile, is investigating 2 fake videos promoting false election information. One video uses the FBI's name and insignia to look like a news clip.
The news you need to know. Wisconsin's Morning News on WTMJ.
Hey, Greg Matzik here for Holiday Automotive in Fond du Lac. Comfortable fall weather. Now's a great time to gear up and get ready for what's next. Take to the roads with confidence this winter in a new all-wheel drive equipped Chevy, Buick, or GMC. You can also explore the peace of mind benefits and value built into a GM certified pre-owned model. Whatever the case, connect with Holiday and find a vehicle that's right for you during the year-end sale. It's going on right now. Score enticing offers, get more for that trade, and experience for yourself what I've experienced over the last 10 years. That's Holiday's simplified buying approach and genuine guest care. It is different there, I promise you. It's the stuff that delights and makes fans of drivers from all over the place. Those who trust Holiday and have helped them achieve top ranking as Wisconsin's #1 Buick and GMC dealer per 2023 Buick and GMC Zone sales records. Navigate today's car market confidently. Find yours and discover the difference at Holiday Chevrolet Buick and GMC. It's in Fond du Lac. You can shop anytime online at holidaygm.com. It's worth the trip.
Looking for a fun family activity to get into the holiday spirit? Visit or volunteer for Capco's Kids to Kids Toy Drive in Grafton on Saturday, December 7th. The event is free and we will have lots of fun activities. Capco is dedicated to bring communities together and has collected over 300,000 toys through Kids to Kids. Join us and WTMJ for a celebration of giving and bring a new unwrapped toy to help children in need this holiday season. Support Kids to Kids. Visit kidstoKidstoydrive.com.
The temperature's actually on the decrease today after a morning high of 52 degrees. Going to be breezy as well. Going to see plenty of sun, however. With a high of 52, we've already hit that, however. Overnight low of 28 degrees. Tomorrow back into the low 50s with some sun. 49 and sunny in Milwaukee at 12-16. Tim Sheehy is the president of the MMAC, former president, now senior advisor to the MMAC. I was going to say president-elect. I'm still on kind of election time here. Fine. I'm all over the place. Most importantly, we have spent the last minute during the break explaining to Tim what a beaver moon is, and now you are full understanding of what to watch for tonight in the skies and later this week.
It was, and it reminds me growing up as a kid, my dad was in the Navy for a while, and he always would say, red sky in the morning, sailor's warning, red sky at night, sailor's delight.
Interesting.
So, there are lots of little ways to describe the weather that some people get and some people don't.
Very interesting. Hey, on the topic of election here, we always talk about the impact of an election and short-term, long-term effect. The markets are a great example and certainly timely for discussion. What are the election results, the impact of that on businesses here in Milwaukee? short term, long term, is it too hard to project what that could mean?
Well, I think some things are kind of right on the windscreen that we can see, and it gets a little misty the further you go out. But, one thing I'm reminded of is never to project why I think an election went one way or another, because everybody has their own reason for voting. But I think what's interesting is that if you look at the elections, the U.S. presidential election and elections that have been held in developed countries around the world during this year, this is the first time since World War II that every developed country saw the party in power lose votes. So to me, it says something about not maybe the cultural issues as much, but about the economy. And when the economy does well, it kind of lifts the party in power. When it doesn't do well, it really holds them back. And I'm not saying there aren't other issues involved. So to bring your question to the forefront, I mean, I think the markets reacted in part to the fact that there's a likely extension of the current tax cuts that are in place, that Trump, and this can go both ways, is very pro-U.S., so maybe manufacturing does well, and that's a fastball in Milwaukee's economy. That you'll get maybe some handle on immigration, and I think immigration has run wild, but it's also helped fill the U.S. workforce. But maybe as that gets constrained, the workforce still stays, but you'll address some of the border issues that have been a challenge. So I think that's the reaction. And the other part of it is just, I think shouldn't say general euphoria, because this is not an election that leads people to general euphoria, but the feeling that maybe their earnings will come back. And that may be because of nothing Trump does. It just may be because inflation has run its course.
Well, one thing that I found very interesting last week when we were talking with one of the main reporters over at ABC, he's 81 years old. He's now covered, I think it is 16 elections. And he said after the fact, when we knew that Trump won, that the economy is something that impacts every single person every single day. And that hit me because it's like, yes, it's so true. Abortion was huge in this election, right? But it doesn't impact every single person every single day. The war, same thing. So that really just kind of hit me. And I thought, okay, let's talk about the state results, though, too. What impact will the state election results have on business here in Milwaukee? Yeah,
and I think in a good way, probably more of the same. I mean, the Republicans lost. They went from 22 seats in the Senate to 18 seats. In the Assembly, they went from 65 to 55, but they still have a strong majority in both houses. So what it means is when the governor puts the budget together in 2025, both parties are going to have to work together as they did in the past. What both have going for them coming into the 25-27 state budget is a $3.5 billion surplus. So they've got a lot of money to play with. And in some way, they'll want to give that back to taxpayers, right? Either directly or through programs. And so I think that's a very positive sign for Wisconsin. But the point is that both parties are going to have to work with each other to get whatever they want accomplished.
Hey, Tim, how would you describe Milwaukee's economy today?
Really good question. And I think about it from two perspectives. So every month we track 23 economic indicators, we being MMAC. And in September, 11 of those 23 were in a positive direction. That's the biggest jump we've seen in a couple months. And again, this is pre-election. What's really interesting to think about is if you go back to 2007, so 2007 to 2024, employment in Metro Milwaukee is flat. Now, we obviously lost a ton of jobs through COVID. But if you really think about it, Milwaukee is flat. In other words, we haven't added a number of new jobs. The kinds of jobs that are out there have changed, but the economy is kind of back to where it was in 2007, which isn't necessarily bad. And so as we look forward, I think that unemployment is low, and what people are looking for now is the ability for their take-home pay to start to escape the inflation that they've been hit with. And if they do that, if that happens, people are going to be in a very positive mood. Now, this is anecdotal. It's not analytical, but driving around with my wife this weekend, it was hard to find a spot to park in a shopping mall. I mean, I was stunned at how crowded.
At the mall?
At the mall. And I had the pleasure of being driven to multiple malls this weekend. So Beaver Moon or not.
Yes.
And so just, I was really surprised to see that many people out shopping.
Interesting. Well, and I shouldn't be so surprised about malls because more people this year say they are going back to malls and brick and mortars. It's not a huge number, but it's like 23% more. So it's big.
Yeah, really interesting.
Speaking of money, the city of Milwaukee and the county just passed their 2025 budgets. Not a lot of controversy, not much drama. In fact, Milwaukee County, they passed in about 30 minutes. There was no debate. We're talking about a $1.4 billion budget. So what's going on there?
Yeah, the discussion we just had about the two parties working together at the state budget, you go back to the last budget when Act 12 passed, which allowed the county to add to its sales tax. It allowed the city for the first time to implement a 2-cent sales tax, and it changed the formula for shared revenue. And for the city, it allowed them to start to address some of their long-seated pension funding challenges. So add that all up, and at least for the near term, both the city and county have the revenue to try to plug the budget holes that they've been wrestling with over time. So it doesn't mean that those issues are put to bed, but it means for the near term, both the city and county have the revenue to meet the obligations and provide funding for the services that they do, which is why it led to a pretty quick passage on both accounts.
I'm really curious to see what happens with jobs. You described it as being flat currently, but with Milwaukee Tool sort of plunking down roots here, Fiserv, we talked about a variety of other companies, Milwaukee being viewed as kind of a tech hub. I feel like there is some growth opportunity here in the city.
Yeah, there's growth opportunity for certain. The kinds of jobs that are being created, the average wage is going up, but and if you think about it, for the growth we see at a Milwaukee Tool, we just read the third quarter from Rockwell, and they had lost 12,000 jobs. And so, we got companies adding, companies losing. What I was giving you is kind of a net number. And again, that belies the punch we took during COVID, where we lost, a big chunk of jobs, and we've recovered those now. So there is job growth. It's just relative to where we were in 2007.
Interesting to follow.
When we talk about an opportunity for growth, you know who else has it? Milwaukee Bucks. We got to get some wins. I've seen you at the Bucks games.
It's Monday. You had to bring that up.
I was at the game yesterday. Have you gone to? I know you go to Bucks games.
I do go to Bucks games. I haven't been there yet, so maybe I got to go see if I can do something to break the streak.
Maybe you'll be the good luck charm. Okay. See you tomorrow night there, please.
They always win on a Beaver Moon, though.
Yes, that is fact. That is fact. We'll keep starting it here in 2024. Tim Sheehy, Senior Advisor to the MMAC, our guest every Monday here about 12:15. Thank you, Tim.
Thank you.
12:25, news coming up.
I'm Sandy Mex with the Monday Makeover.
Maura from Rural Norman in Brookfield.
And cold, dry winter weather. What is the latest lip trend to prevent the chapping and cracking this year?
A lip oil. Oils are a lot thinner, so they penetrate deeper into the lips, giving you more long-term hydration. And they add a really pretty shine, too. 97% plant-based and natural, so the lip oils are really good for you, too.
And I also like that with the lip oil, it stays where you want it to be.
Yes, there's a non-feathering effect. So even with like the wind and the cold, they're going to stay exactly where you want it to be. You can use it as like a pre-lip treatment. So you can put it on like when in the beginning when you're doing your makeup, put it on. And then by the time you get to your lips will be nice and hydrated for your lipstick. Or you can top your favorite lipstick with it, which will give that really pretty glassy shine.
Ooh, so you get the lip gloss, but with better protection.
Yes, and not sticky. You can use a lip oil every day, multiple times a day, anytime you need that extra hydration or that you want the shine.
Call Merle Norman or book online at mnsalonbrookfield.com.
Your current car, soon to be your old car. A new car? Better start looking. But you've got this. Just like Associated Bank's got you with free credit score for Choice and Platinum Choice checking customers. Because when you know you need to make a big purchase, knowing your credit score puts you in the driver's seat. You've got this with free credit score from Associated Bank. See associatedbank.com/checking or ask a banker for details. Member FDIC.
Do you know or work with kids who have special healthcare needs? Help them live their best lives. Contact Wisconsin Wayfinder Children's Resource Network. Our specialists will connect you with services in your area. Wisconsin Wayfinder is free and confidential. Call 877-947-2929 or visit dhs.wi.gov/WISCWAY. Connect today. Sponsored by the Wisconsin Department of Health Services.
Now, about your house. Eric Brown is the president of Siding Unlimited, your contractor for new windows, roofing, siding, decks, and a whole lot more. He knows about your house. So what do you know, Eric?
I know some of our best weather happens in the fall, but I also know what comes next. Homeowners, this is your time to break out the checklist and prepare for some of Wisconsin's harshest weather in the winter. Here are some hot points to check so you are prepared for this upcoming winter season. Make sure your gutters and downspouts are free and clear of debris. This is a must-do before winter. Pick a nice day and clean everything out so water can flow through. This will help reduce the amount of ice that can build up after a snowstorm. From the ground, check if your roof and chimney are sealed and ready. Please don't go onto the roof for a couple reasons. Safety is number one. If you don't normally walk on roofs or on sloped surfaces, then staying off the roof will assure your safety. Excessive walking on your roof could damage the shingles, so you want to leave it to a professional if you want somebody up on your roof. Check your attic and make sure the vents are free of debris and air is circulating throughout the attic. A well-ventilated attic will dramatically reduce the chance of moisture issues when the temperatures drop. You wouldn't believe how many homeowners live in cold homes and their windows are unlocked. Check and make sure your windows are locked and seals are intact. Many old windows can be locked and still drafty. Those windows need to be replaced to really save on energy costs and dramatically improve the comfort in your home. By checking your home and making sure it is in tip-top shape makes so much sense. And it is way better to be a proactive homeowner in the fall instead of a reactive homeowner in January.
Eric and his crews at Siding Unlimited are your home's go-to contractor here. Take your next step and check them out at sidingunlimited.com. Siding Unlimited, siding and a whole lot more.
It's 12:30. I'm Greg Matzik. This is Wisconsin's Midday News for Monday, November 11th. Your top story, honoring veterans throughout the state and country.
I'm Jessica Ty. Will Boeing bounce back?
Decreasing clouds today, windy. Temperatures cooling into the 40s later this afternoon. Wind gusting upwards of 30 miles an hour. Chilly tonight and a low of 28. Tomorrow, mostly sunny. Might see some clouds, a high of 49 degrees. Temperatures falling. It's currently 48 and sunny in Milwaukee at 11:30.
ABC News, I'm Brian Clark. Veterans Day observed around the nation. Here at the parade in New York City at Arlington National Cemetery, it was a more solemn ceremony, and that's where President Biden, on the final Veterans Day of his term, said,
"It's been the greatest honor of my life to lead you, to serve you, to care for you, to defend you, just as you defended us, generation after generation after generation."
He'll host President-elect Trump Wednesday at the White House. He continues to plan for his second term, announcing that he will make his former ICE chief, Tom Homan, his border czar. Multiple sources tell ABC he's expected to name longtime advisor Stephen Miller, an immigration hardliner, the deputy chief of staff for policy. Crews in Southern California reporting progress on the Ventura County wildfires. Fires still burning in New York and New Jersey. This is ABC News.
Siding Unlimited, WTMJ News Time is 12:31. That's 12:31. From the WTMJ Breaking News Center, I'm Greg Matzik. A lawsuit targeting a block of Wisconsin's 1849 abortion ban hears arguments for and against enforcement. Sheboygan County District Attorney Joel Urmanski says the U.S. Supreme Court overturning Roe v. Wade in 2022 reenacts Wisconsin's abortion ban. Attorneys for Wisconsin Attorney General Josh Kaul argued the ban is superseded by more recent Wisconsin abortion legislation enacted in 1994.
Among other things, the state of Wisconsin cannot have two laws on the same subject with the same scope that provide directly conflicting answers as to when conduct is and is not a felony.
A Dane County judge blocked the ban in 2023, arguing it does not prevent consensual abortions.
On this Veterans Day, Governor Tony Evers says it's important for the state of Wisconsin to take care of its veterans.
To ensure our veterans and their families have every resources
in to live their fullest and most successful lives.
Evers made the comments this morning during a special Veterans Day ceremony at the state capitol.
A Mequon murder case is now closed after 65 years of investigation.
In 1959, a human skeleton was found in a Mequon culvert. The remains were suspected to belong to a 7-year-old boy from Michigan. His adoptive parents, William and Hilja Jutila, were charged with his homicide, but those charges were dismissed in 1966 due to lack of evidence. Those remains have now been identified as Chester Alfred Briney, the adopted son of the Jutilas, both of whom died in 1988. Briney will be formally laid to rest Friday in Port Washington. Adam Roberts, WTMJ News.
After agreeing to a deal and ending their 2-month-long strike, it is back to airplane factories for Boeing workers this week. But it comes amid uncertainty at the company.
As the 33,000 workers who build the Boeing 737, 767, and 777 come back to work this week, around 17,000 Boeing workers could learn they are out of jobs. Boeing is expected to begin handing out layoff notices as early as this week. The affected jobs will end January 17th. Boeing has lost tens of billions of dollars in recent years due to a myriad of issues. It's working to right the ship. Alex Stone, ABC News.
Well, a former NFL coach currently working on staff at UW arrested for drunk driving. The Wisconsin State Journal says Jack Del Rio was under the influence when he hit a street sign and drove into a fence, Madison. This happened early Friday morning. In a statement, UW says it's aware of the incident and is taking the matter very seriously. Del Rio has been a senior advisor to Luke Fickell's football staff since the beginning of the season.
Sports, traffic, and weather are next. Sounding Unlimited WTMJ News Time is 12:34.
Craft your Brewers mini plan for the 2025 season, featuring all new 6-packs and 12-packs. Get in on the action with great ticket rates, marquee matchups, and priority seating. Plus, you'll get a limited edition Brewers Crowler with each 12-pack or pair of 6-packs. Looking to customize your games to fit your schedule? Build your own ticket plan options are also available. Pick the plan for you at brewers.com/ticket finder.
This is the sound of research in the works. Sounds kind of boring. But for those diagnosed with cancer, this is the sound of a possible cure. Because here, our researchers are also your doctors, working as one force, under one roof, where clinical research and new treatments unite in one place to fight even the most complex cancers. Welcome to East Park Medical Center, UW Health Carbone Cancer Center. Remarkable.
It's here on consignment from over 10,000 nationwide partners. From very high-end, distinctive furniture, unique antiques and original art, to tasteful home decor that can fit almost any budget. Premium home decor priced right at 25 to 40% off retail prices. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Smart interior designers know that what they'll see here is going to be almost impossible to find anywhere else, especially at our consignment prices. Premium home decor that's gently loved and close to new. And what we carry can raise the wow factor of anyone's home decor. This is Katie with Design Exchange, where discerning buyers with discriminating tastes come to find premium home decor at a value. Design Exchange in Heartland and Pewaukee.
Design Exchange.
Time for WTMJ Sports Update from the Gruber Law Office's One Call, That's All Sports desk. It's back to work for the Packers. Little practice today after taking last week off. The team heads to Chicago to face the 4-6 Bears on Sunday afternoon. Meanwhile, the Bucks, just 2-8 on the season, continue a 3-game homestand on Tuesday night against the Toronto Raptors. Marquette men's basketball at Fiserv Forum tonight against Central Michigan. Hear the game on 94.5 ESPN with coverage beginning at 7:30.
Let's get you an update on the roads with your WTMJ Johnson & Sons paving time saver traffic. I don't get to say this often, but when I get to say it, I love it. It's looking great out there. All of our disabled vehicles have cleared. There is not one major crash to let you know about. Fingers crossed it stays that way. Maybe
traffic is sponsored by Hall Mazda Milwaukee. Visit hallmazdamilwaukee.com.
If you see something we should know about, call the WTMJ Hall Mazda Traffic Tip Line, 414-238-9329. Visit Hall Volkswagen during Volkswagen Sign Then Drive event.
Decreasing temperatures today. Plenty of sun, but temperatures will dip into the 40s here by the middle of the day, toward the end of the day, and chilly tonight with a low of 28 degrees. Sun returns in force tomorrow with a high of 52. That's about where we started this morning. We're now down to 48 and sunny in Milwaukee at 12:37. The well-rested Charles Benson, TMJ4 chief political reporter, joins us in studio. Charles, we've been asking everybody sitting in that chair today if they understand what a beaver moon is.
That would have no response.
Okay. I'd say it's the fourth supermoon of the year, but when a beaver moon happens in November, or excuse me, a supermoon, when it happens in November, they call it a beaver moon.
And who came up with that?
The Beavers did, of course.
The more you know, Charles, the more you know.
Very busy winter looking ahead to plan.
Yes. Apparently, I've been so enthralled with the election, I missed that.
Okay. Let's start.
And thanks for noticing that I'm well rested.
Yes, you look great.
Yeah, sure.
You came in here energized.
Fully energized.
Yes. Well, we know you had a long week, and really it's been a long year, of course, as we have hurtled toward the election, now through it. I want to hone in on what's happening state here with, a concession of the Senate race between Tammy Baldwin and Eric Hovde. It's been pretty quiet on the Hovde front. What are we waiting for? What's going to happen here?
Well, I wish I had some great intel on, what is going to happen in terms of what Eric Hovde is going to decide to do. At this point, we have not heard a concession or a statement or some sort of, what does he think of the results, and as based on those results, is he going to challenge anything? And I have no insight that he's planning on that. I know through talking through one source, there have been conversations about the outcome of the election. And one of my key observations is that in the presidential race, we had 3,415,000 people vote. And I say congratulations to Wisconsin voters. That's a record turnout. What perplexes me is that in the U.S. Senate race, there were roughly 20,000 fewer people that didn't even go to the U.S. Senate race and decide. They didn't make a choice.
So just did president or maybe some other local officials, but nothing in Senate.
They completely skipped the U.S. Senate race. 20,000 votes. I'm rounding them off, okay? So because it's 3,387,000 voted. 3,387,000. So what's that, 13, 15? Actually, it's a little bit more than 25,000 votes. Am I doing the math right there? And my point is, he ends up losing by 29,000 votes. Now, it's not to say that, where would those votes gone if they had voted there, because the split was really pretty close, 49.4%, 48.5% for him. Closest election ever for Senator Tammy Baldwin, who, won by double digits the last time around and beat Tommy Thompson, I think, by 5 or 6 points the first time around. So it was a very, very close election. I don't know how he finds or looks at that and say, where could there have been a different outcome? The other interesting point about that race is that we had third-party candidates, 2 of them. And I think they ended up getting about 70,000 total votes. That was more than the third-party candidates in the presidential race. So there were a lot of third-party candidates. And I've always said in Wisconsin, third-party candidates are not going to win, but they're going to influence the outcome. And one could make the argument based on those 70,000, could it have changed if it had just been a straight one-on-one election? And I think he looks at those numbers and say, possible. It's possible it could have had a different outcome. The other point I make is that I've sort of coined this new term called the Milwaukee swing, okay? This is what happens when you add up all the ballots in Central County in Milwaukee. And we knew they were going to be after midnight. So around 3 or 4 o'clock, we got the number of absentee ballots out of Milwaukee. I think this time it amounted to about 109,000 absentee ballots. And everyone who's, watching the scorecard here, at that point, before around 2 or 3 in the morning, Donald Trump had built up a cushion of about 110,000 votes. But Hovde had not. Hovde was still in a 50 to 60,000 range. So when the Milwaukee vote came in, as in 2020, it would swing to Joe Biden in 2020. This time around, it did not swing to Kamala Harris. Trump was able to hold on because he built up these bigger margins in the smaller counties that paid a big dividend for him at the end. He was able to hold on to his lead. Hovde was not able to hold on to the lead when the Milwaukee vote came in, which is a strong Democratic area.
It is interesting just to kind of sit back and wonder what is his strategy right now. And I know you don't have that answer, but it's just as the days go on, what's going on there? What is he thinking? Because he did release that statement. I think he posted on X saying, I'm waiting here, watching returns to make sure that every single vote is counted. But here we are on Monday. I just checked again to see if there's anything new, but he doesn't have anything new.
Right. So the math, 30,000. So now we're all in this process waiting to see the counties, it still has to be certified. We talk about, here's who won. Well, the clerks tell you nothing is official. The state tells you nothing is official until it's certified. And we're going through that process. So what I'm hearing is that when all the certification takes place by, I think, next Tuesday, the 19th, he would have 3 days after that if he wants to call for a recount.
It was certainly tight, and there's no doubt about that, right? Within that margin of error.
30,000. Now, keep in mind, we saw a recount in 2020 because President-elect Trump asked in 2020 for a recount just in 2 counties. It didn't move numbers. In fact, I think Joe Biden picked up a few extra votes. So recounts are really difficult to, if you're down 10, 20, 50, 100, but almost 29,000 votes.
Yeah.
Separates them.
Very interesting. So Donald Trump is now at work sort of piecing together his cabinet. I think we looked at the numbers and how many positions he has to fill, and we were both blown away. It was somewhere 4,000
it's a lot.
Spots to fill.
Not just cabinet secretaries, it's, all the way down.
It's incredible. I really honestly had no idea it was that robust. But he's starting to make some progress in that regard. What should we be looking for when it comes to the different positions, whether it's UN, borders are, right?
I think it's
out
like
about these appointments?
Who speaks to what he wants to get accomplished. We know Elon Musk is in the mix, right? He's apparently down there in Florida sort of, helping in these conversations. Does he pick people out of the Senate or the House, people who are already in government? Marco Rubio, the senator from Florida, has been mentioned as a possible cabinet post. Who served in the previous administration that could come into the next administration. I think a lot of eyes went on his first big announcement for his chief of staff.
First female.
Historic, right?
Yeah.
Susie Wiles. And so people looked at that and said, wow. Now, she ran his campaign, and people will argue the most disciplined campaign for Donald Trump. And so now, as the chief of staff, that gatekeeper on who gets to come in and see him and who doesn't, right? So I think a lot of people saw that as a disciplined move to put someone with that kind of skill set into the White House and get him going right out of the starting block on January 20th in terms of being prepared, being ready. How do you get those first 100 days off the ground? And it will be key people not only in the cabinet positions, but even in some of those lower levels. Who's at the White House? Who's the communications director? Who are the key people that help not only plan the strategy, but implement the strategy and help in the messaging and the communication? We had one of his former chief of staffs was Reince Priebus. And he was on, I think he lasted 6 months. It's a tough job. People, they say the average life might be 18 or 2 years at that job just because it's so difficult. But, Reince Priebus is a guy who knows how difficult that job is. But with Susie Wiles there as the chief of staff, I think a lot of people said, okay, good move there on the R team for the Republicans.
Might we see anyone with Wisconsin connections fill these roles?
So, at At the senator level, that would be, Senator Ron Johnson, and I don't see that happening. I think he would look at Senator Ron Johnson as someone who could play a key role in the Senate. And keep in mind, if you start taking people out of the Senate, then there's elections to try to replace them, and we're such a close state. Where in like Florida, if you take out Marco Rubio and put him in the cabinet, it's a Republican state. So there could be people at some other positions down the line. But when I look at our high-profile people in Congress or in the Senate, I don't see anything happening at that level.
What happens to Nikki Haley here?
So he already said, right? Thanks, but no thanks. And that was, I guess, those who are wanting, could she have a role? Could she have a voice? And I think that's the question of, do people get positions or do they have that voice? I think Robert F. Kennedy Jr. will be the most watched. Does he end up with a cabinet post, therefore can have a bigger voice, or does he play a role in having a voice on policy issues? And I think a lot of people will be watching Tulsi Gabbard, who was also key, former member of Congress. So it is always interesting to me that, I think when with Vice President Harris, she had often talked about she would have someone, a Republican who would have been in her cabinet. Does he find someone like that? It seems unlikely, except for Tulsi Gabbard, a former Democrat, or Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Some people are not going to want to think about the next election, but at the end of the day, it will be here before you know it. The political focus here in Wisconsin will shift soon, and we're talking about big ones. I mean, the Supreme Court.
The state Supreme Court will be another key race. That's in April. We're waiting to see if there's going to be a primary. Unlikely, so there may just be two folks that run for that race. The other thing that just doesn't get a lot of play is that, look, the Democrats picked up 10 seats in the Assembly. They picked up 4 in the state Senate. So there is a change happening there. Republicans still hold on to their control in the Assembly and the Senate. But what does that landscape look like? Because the Assembly will be back up again in 2 years, and then the other half of the Senate that didn't run this time. And Democrats seem to be leaning into more of 2026 could be the year they think they could take maybe the Senate. And that will be more of that political landscape changing in Wisconsin. I think 2025, no one wants to really start thinking about it, but very curious, how does that state Supreme Court race look, given what we saw, a split decision here. We had a Democratic senator win and a Republican presidential candidate win as well in 2022.
Incredible work as always, Charles, following all this, and hope you get some time to relax a little bit here before the end of the year.
That's the plan.
Yeah. Well, you've certainly earned it. TMJ4 Chief Political Reporter Charles Benson here in studio. Thank you so much, Charles.
Thanks, Charles.
Great to be with you.
You bet. 12:50 on WTMJ. An incredible story out of Chicago, where they could use some good news because their football team is terrible. We'll explain after this.
Blue sweater, red sweater, reindeer sweater, extra double thick sweater.
What are you doing?
Getting my closet ready for winter. It'll be here before you know it.
Good point. We should all be getting our vehicles ready for winter too. And now's the time to visit any of the 115 Adam member new car dealers to get your oil changed, have your brakes and wipers checked, and make sure your tires will get you through a long Wisconsin winter. Just visit adamm.com to find the nearest Adam member dealer.
Hey, WTMJ's Greg Matzik. I will not be at Potawatomi Sportsbook tonight. Every Monday we do a Football Monday show, Gary Ellerson and I, but because of the bye week, it's our bye week as well. So we will not be there tonight, but I encourage you to stop down to Potawatomi Sportsbook and check it out. If you've not seen it, it is absolutely fantastic. 2 levels. There's a VIP deck. On the second level, you can hang out with a friend group in a more intimate setting up there if you'd like, or just hang out on the floor. 2,000 square foot video wall. I'm promising you will see the game, whatever game it is that you want to see. You will see it at Potawatomi. Grab some food from the kitchen, grab an ice cold drink, a Wisconsin beverage of your choice, and enjoy all that's new at Potawatomi Casino Hotel in Milwaukee and their beautiful new Potawatomi Sportsbook.
Share all the holiday joy this season with the convenient shipping and enhanced network of the United States Postal Service. Visit USPS.com/holidayride.
You just can't pass on Less's Glass. Find us at lessglassservice.com.
Hi, I'm Chef Paul Bartolotta of the Bartolotta Restaurant with the perfect gift idea for your holiday season. A Bartolotta gift card. With so many unique restaurants to choose from, Mr. Bean Steakhouses, Brookfield and Mequon, Joy Gerard's, Ristorante Bartolotta, the Commodore, and more. They select the restaurant, we create the memories. So purchase a gift card at bartolottas.com and get a $20 holiday bonus for every $100 you spend. Happy holidays from all of us at the Bartolotta Restaurants, and thank you, Milwaukee.
Staying active, essential for overall health. Proper medical support, essential for staying active. WTMJ's Vince Vitrano for Orthopedic Associates of Wisconsin. Whether it's keeping a weekend warrior like me on the tennis court or keeping young athletes in the game, you want the best in sports medicine, that's OAW. Surgeons, nurses, and physical therapists help you recover from injury, avoid injury in the future, and enhance performance. Get care 7 days a week. Walk right in at an Ortho ASAP clinic or book an appointment online at orthowisconsin.com.
A lot of negative criticism has come from the fact that we voice our own radio ads. You sound unprofessional, you sound like you're from the UP, you sound like a couple of dopey farmers. All the comments we've had.
Ben and Arvid Huth, brothers and owners of Penny Mustard Furnishings.
We don't want to sound like everybody else. We don't want to sound super professional. We want to sound like who we are, and this is who we are.
You know, I take things personally a lot faster than what you do. I get all bent out of shape about it, and you're just like, don't worry about it. That's just one person's opinion, you know. And in reality, you're right.
It's not about them liking us. It's about us being who we are.
You know, we want to have good furniture, goes into the home, makes for a happy customer for a long time, and at the same time, we want to have good employees. We want to take care of our employees. We want to support the local craftsmen so they can support their families and their communities. It's what we do.
See more at pennymustard.com.
Like us or hate us, it's what we do.
Wrapping up a Monday edition of Wisconsin's Midday News here on WTMJ. Crazy story out of Illinois.
What a joyful story, though.
That is absolutely unbelievable. A Chicago man is talking about finding his long-lost mother at a local bakery. Details from ABC's Allison Kosick.
It's the most joyful story.
Lindsay was 17 years old when she gave up her newborn son for adoption. Hunter was 35 when he learned he was adopted, so he submitted DNA results for genetic testing. Turns out he and his birth mom lived in the same neighborhood, and he was a regular customer at the bakery she owned.
It further strengthens my faith.
She was facing a health crisis, so Hunter, who had no prior baking experience, took over the bakery. Now, with his mom's health improved, they often get the chance to work together.
Are you kidding me? It's absolutely incredible. I have a lot of questions about, 35 years before you learned you were adopted, right? There's, all sorts of questions there. But to be living in the same neighborhood as your biological mother, frequenting the store that she owns, and now running it with her, right? You go from not knowing who your mother was to, I don't know, cranking out pastries and pies and birthday cakes together.
Oh, my gosh. Yeah, I was looking into this, and he said you can't make up for time and days gone by. What you can do is properly utilize the time that you have.
Just incredible.
In the name of their bakery, how great is this? Give me some sugar. Not sugar, sugar. A-H.
Well, a fascinating story with a very happy ending. Hopefully they get to work together for a number of years. 12:55 in WTMJ News is next, followed by Spanning the State.
WTMJ's Vince Vitrano here along with producer of Wisconsin's Morning News, Greg Pancake Hill.
Join us as we kick off the Trivia Showdown competition where you can play trivia against or with your favorite WTMJ personalities like us.
We'll be at Cafe Hollander in Wauwatosa Wednesday, November 13th, kicking off the Capco Kids to Kids Toy Drive.
Trivia starts at 7. We will see you at Cafe Hollander in Tosa Wednesday, November 13th, presented by Quizmaster Trivia.
Those who don't have 20/20 vision usually do something about it. But many who can't breathe freely through their nose just live with it, not realizing they can have 20/20 breathing. At Advent, we're out to change that. With 20/20 breathing, you'll have fewer sinus infections, more energy, you'll sleep better, and you will live better. I'm Dr. Madan Kandula. In 2006, Advent pioneered the balloon sinuplasty procedure. And since, thousands of our patients can tell you, This simple 20-minute in-office solution really works. Balloon sinuplasty can give you 20/20 breathing so you can breathe freely through both nostrils with your mouth closed day and night. And that can change your life.
Go to adventknows.com to schedule your appointment, because Advent knows when you breathe well, you live better. Results may vary.
This is Matt Meitner, owner of Sit Means Sit Dog Training. Do you find yourself talking to your dog but feel like she's not listening to you?
Bella, sit!